Hello, San Ramon. Another art activity here. This one is kind of a hard one. Fifth graders, you'll remember this. It's a version of this. When we did the cityscape that we drew the horizon line and then the one point, and then we drew like the sidewalk and the road, and then we had the buildings coming up. So this one's sort of like that, but it's looking at a city from like you're standing on the street and you're looking up and you see all the buildings coming up. So it's a slightly different perspective of a city. So I thought you'd have fun with it. It's not super easy to do, guys. So, fourth and fifth graders, I think it's totally doable for you guys. If you're younger than that, you can give it a go. Just don't let yourself get too frustrated with it because it is a little hard. Okay, so what you're going to do when you start is you're going to start with a dot. Do you see how I started this one so you could kind of see it? But I'm going to finish this part a little bit more today with you guys. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with a dot. So I'm going to use a black pen to start just because then I think you guys can see it better. But you should use a pencil and don't go too heavy with your pencil because you're going to want to erase it. So put your dot somewhere in the middle of your paper. It doesn't have to be exactly in the middle. And then you're going to just make lines coming off of that. Remember that you're going to use a pencil for this. I'm just using black so you can see it better in the video. So I'm just going to have a pencil because you're going to want to erase this when you actually do it for real. And I'll show you what I mean by that in a little bit. And you can do lots of lines and then you can erase them. With the one I did up on the easel, I did a lot of lines and then I've erased them as I've gone. So you're just going to have all these diagonal lines come out from this center point. And this is your point of perspective. This is where everything is sort of going to this. Alrighty, I'm gonna do it all the way around. You can do more than this if you want. It's kind of up to you. Once you have that done, I'm gonna pull this down so you can see this part. Then what you're gonna do is you're gonna start to make your buildings. And you'll see here, I've erased all these pencil lines in here. Paige, you can tell me how well. Can you see? Do you think if I draw in pencil, they'll be able to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
So here, let's pretend I wanna make a building right here, right? So I might go back on here, and I am using a ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you can use like the side of a cardboard box, or you can get a book or something that you might be able to draw on. Just make sure with your parents that it's okay. So you'll draw the lines a little hard. So now this is where this building's going to end. So I'm going to take my eraser, which I now don't have an eraser. Uh-oh. There's an eraser. Okay. And I'm going to erase these lines because I don't need these lines anymore. Okay. You just take those right away. Now notice when I did the top of my building, this is the hard part. I'm going to show you guys something. Do you remember fifth graders when we did our cityscape? We drew a horizon line and we drew the little point in the middle and we drew the sidewalk. Remember we had that sidewalk that we drew? Like, let's pretend it went like this. Now remember when we drew the lines on the sidewalk and it was so tempting to have them go down like this? And remember I kept saying, no, line up your ruler with the bottom of the paper because you want it to go, you want these lines to be parallel to the bottom of the paper. Do you guys remember that? And everybody had to erase and it was a big problem. So same thing with this. So you want the lines to go parallel. Same thing with this. You want the top of the building to be parallel with this edge of the paper. So you're going to have that line go straight across. You don't need to do a ruler, but just if you might need to, like if just because it's tempting to have it go down at a slant, but then it won't look like it's the top of the building. Same thing with the windows. So I'm going to take away this line because I think it's sort of distracting. And I'm going to put windows in here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm lining up my ruler with this part of the paper because otherwise it's not going to look right. And then I'm going to keep going up. And then when you do, so the lines that go, I guess it's the opposite of the lines that are going straight for the side of the building. Those are going to be the ones that are parallel to the bottom of the paper. As you move your way up, like if those are the windows, when you go to do, I'm not doing these perfectly lined up, that's all right. When you go to do the side of the window, that is going to line up to this point here. Do you guys see that? So that's how you're going to make these windows look like they're really windows. Do you see how I did that? Line it up with the ruler. Line it up at that point there. And that will help it to look like it's actually really moving up, and that will give it more perspective. And don't feel frustrated with this. This is why you're going to do this in pencil. You know, if it's not exactly right, just erase it and try again. It's not a big deal. And it might take you a long time to do this, and that's okay if it takes a long time. That's, you know, you got time right now, right? That's the one thing we have. We have a lot of time. All right, so now you can have another building be really close to that if you want. Like maybe this next building's going to come up from here, and maybe I'll make it go. Well, that'll be a little tricky. So this is interesting. I have to figure this one out. Paige, you can help me with this. So if I have a building that I want to connect to that and to this, I have to think about how I want the top. So I think what's going to happen is the top part
it has to line up with the edge of the
will
paper.
line up with this, and then this one will line up with this part of the paper, won't it? I don't know. That's tricky. Maybe I should have another line coming this way, right from the corner. What do you think? I think I should do that. So you guys, you see how I'm having to adjust here because I'm realizing it's not going to work perfectly that way. So I think if I want this building to go this way, I think it's going to have to go. I think I'm going to need to line up this part of the building with that line.
And then that side
right?
will
Yes, so I'm going to see two parts of this building then. And this line will have to get lined up with here. See, it's all sort of a process of figuring this out. Oh yeah, that makes sense. So you're sort of in the middle of that building. Okay, so then if I were to do windows, I'm going to erase this line because that feels like it's going to be in my way. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some, I don't know, and you don't have to do all the windows the same. You can, I tried to vary them here. I think it's kind of fun to vary them. Maybe you want to have it be, sometimes with a building you just see lines. You don't really even see distinct windows. So maybe I'll do that with this building. And you could look at pictures online or pictures that you have in a book or something of cities and look at different buildings and think of, oh, is there a different one? Maybe there's something fancy you want to do on the top of one of them, or you could make one like the Transamerica building in San Francisco. So there, the windows are going to go that way. And then this side of the building, because you want to line it up with that line, you're going to have it go straight there. You see how we're doing that? And that makes it look, that gives it that three-dimensional quality. And then maybe you want to put another building in here. When you're all finished with all your buildings and you're feeling really good about it, and here you're going to want to show the line more on this one. I'm going to make that darker. Then you can go back in and you can color. You could always add like window boxes if you want it to be, if you want to have like flowers or something. You could add little bushes down here on your building or little benches. You could get really creative with it. I can add one more here. It's totally up to you. This is your art, just like always. And I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. You can color your buildings, you can make them painted, or you can keep it just pencil if you kind of like the pencil look. Or maybe you want to go over your pencil with marker. Maybe you think that would be fun. You could do that too. It's not easy, but once you get the hang of it, I think you're going to have a good time with it. Making your buildings, and I'll just leave that one. Maybe I won't add windows to that one right now. All right, so what I want you guys to do is have a good time with this. Don't get frustrated. Start with a pencil with an eraser so you can make corrections if you need to. And when you're finished, I want to see great pictures. So take a picture of it and email it to your teacher. You can email it to me at kchassman, CHASSMAN, @nusd.org. And have fun. I hope you guys like it. And at the top here, you could even do like this. You could do like a blue sky or clouds or something like that. All right. Have fun, guys. Bye.